There we are. So how to move from manager to full-fledged leader. Welcome to today's live. You're joining myself and Kelsey Ann. In case we haven't met before, just a little bit about me. My name's Melissa Landry. I'm a professional certified coach. And as such, my specialty is executive coaching, leadership coaching, and leadership development. That means that every day I get to work with leaders such as yourself. And I help leaders make that transition from being the manager to being a full-fledged leader. Kelsey Ann is my, what we might call my sidekick, but she is an integral, very important part of my team that helps pull all of this together so that we can deliver quality to each and every client. So thank you for joining me, Kelsey Ann.
Of course.
So how to move from manager to full-fledged leader? Well, I think first off, we need to understand what is a manager and what is a leader. What do you think, Kelsey Ann?
I used to think that they were the same. I'm now, having worked with you and, seeing the difference and having felt the difference and just not being able to identify it previously. A leader is someone who helps the employee empower the employees to take self-accountability, responsibility, and get the work done.
Yeah.
Where managers are the ones that feel the need to kind of micromanage and not give so much autonomy to the employee to get their work done.
Yeah. And, I'm going to add a little bit to what you said. I think a boss manager would be maybe dipping into that micromanaging. But when I think about managing, we manage things, right? We manage time, we manage workloads, we manage projects, we manage tasks. What else do we manage? We manage problems. We manage priorities. So management is important. So I don't see it as like not important. It's important, but we don't manage people, we lead people. And that's where the leadership piece comes in. So we manage things and we lead people. And so what we want to be able to do is not necessarily drop the management, but balance managing and leading so that we can be both.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be leading effectively. So what would effective leadership mean? What might it look like?
Productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Effective leadership is productive when the leader is leading appropriately and the employees are responding appropriately. There is that flow of communication. There is a flow of work and outcomes.
Yeah. And I would say it's, you're walking into the office and people are happy to be there. They're motivated to be there. They're motivated to be their best. They're motivated to deliver good quality work. I really like that spin of the leaders being responsive and the employees are being responsive as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching people getting things done without you having to manage them getting the things done, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the leader is doing their job, if they're being effective, then people are owning up and they're stepping up into their responsibilities. They're getting things done because they want to get things done. And they're collaborating, they're communicating. There is a flow of communication. You talked about that. So the information is flowing up, information is flowing down. It's going sideways to different departments, to the different people on the team that need to be in the know without you needing to manage that flow of information. You become very confident in making critical decisions from a place of calm and clarity. There's no more like chaos storm around you. You can find the eye of the storm to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you're making a difference. You know that you're having a positive impact. You can see it in the employee culture. And because the employee culture is doing so well, you're actually, as a whole, having an impact on the direction of the business. And when you're that effective, the other thing that kind of happens is people start recognizing you. They start seeing how your team is doing so well. So it's not about you doing so well. It's not about how you're shining, but it's about how your team is shining and how you're supporting and bringing that to fruition. And that means new opportunities opening up, being recognized, being acknowledged, and being valued. So when you do speak up, people listen. You have a voice at the table. How does that sound? For anybody listening, how does that sound?
Sounds awfully nice to me. Thinking back of my corporate world of when it felt like chaos being in there, and it didn't feel good from an employee perspective not to be self-led and not to take ownership over tasks because nobody else was doing it. So why should I? Right. Just that it didn't have that, didn't resonate, I guess.
Yeah. And to me, an important piece of this, when we look at conditions for quality, when we're looking at the conditions, the criteria of a quality workplace, we're looking at how people feel. Is this a place where we feel good? Is this a place where we feel good together? And that's from the employee, that's also from the leader. Do we feel good here? And when we feel good, that's an important criteria. So how do you make that leap? What are the things that will help you make that transition from where you are now as a manager to really becoming that leader that you want to be and having all of those beautiful outcomes? Because if you're, in the other stage of being a manager, you might be feeling stuck in the weeds. You might be feeling like you just can't get on top of things. You feel like you're constantly pushing, pulling, dragging things to the finish line. A lot of conflict, a lot of tensions. You're not sure how to deal with it. Not really feeling confident in having those conversations. So how do you get out of that and into effective leadership? Well, there's two really important things that you're going to need. You see me in my pen. I'm sorry. I have a thing for that, like coffee and pen. I always have around. So the first really important thing is practical emotional intelligence. And if you're here, right now, if you're listening in, chances are you are not new to leadership training. You have had a lot of training, and you've probably have been taught frameworks and theories on emotional intelligence. This is not new to you. And you probably already have years of experience as a leader, because typically the people that I work with, they've been at this for a long time. And so when the going gets tough, even though you have all of this knowledge inside your mind, you have all of this experience, when you're needing to have the hard conversations, when you're having to stand up and ask for what you want, when you have to deal with really complex, chaotic situations, it's easier said than done. Often when the stress is present, all of that knowledge goes out the window, right? Because it was just kind of sitting there on the shelf and you're not thinking about what piece to go because you're in the middle of the chaos, you're in the middle of the storm. So it's easier said than done. And that's why having practical emotional intelligence is so vital. It's about having the skills that you are constantly practicing. It's not just a book inside your mind, it's actually a muscle that you've been practicing, that you practice every day, and that is ready for you when you need it the most. So that when the going gets tough, it's not going out the window, it's actually something that you lean on. And when you're practicing the skills and you incorporate it in your leadership practice, things become easier. So you're having less of that chaos. You're having less of those hard conversations. You're doing a lot of preventative work just by your practice, your daily practice. And then when things do come up, because they will, we can't prevent everything.
No. Wouldn't that be nice?
Tension still exists in a business, right? We have lots of different tensions, the tensions between customer delivery and the time invested in customer delivery versus the time in doing the behind the scenes work, employees balancing their time. There are these tensions never completely go away. They can be managed. So you will still have tensions, you still have conflict that will come up, but now you're equipped. And now you have the relationships with your employees to deal with those things head on. And remember this, you're too soft or you're too hard. That becomes a thing of the past. Because now you can be direct. You don't have to be hard, but you can be direct. And directness will be effective because you have the relationships in order to be direct. Make sense? So that's the first thing you're going to need, is really effective, practical, emotional intelligence that's working for you. So it's more than just a framework. It's more than just a knowing that it's important or a general concept of what is emotional intelligence. And that's usually where the typical training stops. Okay. So the people that I work with, they've had training and they've touched on these things and they're coming with a lot of knowledge already. And yet there's an importance of taking that knowledge and making that transfer into applicable skills. So the second thing that you're going to need is a customized strategy. So there's so many things that are unique about you and your situation. You have your own leadership style. Right? There's the things that are unique about what you value, how you operate, how you think, how you feel. There's uniqueness in the environment that you're in, the organization, the structure, the policies, the regulations, what we can do, what we can't do. Right? That container, that's unique. Now your team is another piece of unique. So those team dynamics, what is going on? Who are the people on your team? So every single person on the team as a solo point is unique. And then how the team operates is unique. So you can't just get a hammer and try to hammer, thinking everything is a nail. We need to figure out if it's the right hammer, if it's the right size, if you need a hammer and a screwdriver. That customization is super important. And that's something that I strive to provide my clients with. And that's what I do every day, is customization. And that's why that one-on-one is so important. So typical leadership training will give you a big book and say, read this, and that will fix all your problems. And then we'll just kind of talk about what's in the book. But it doesn't leave that space for that customization, that uniqueness. So that's where coaching really becomes an important piece. Getting coaching, it will take all of that, those fundamentals, those things that you'll learn inside a book, and you'll learn to use it and customize it and apply it to your unique circumstances. And so when you work with someone like me that gives you that customization, you don't have to learn everything that's in the book. We can go pick and choose and hand select exactly what's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, skip a lot of things, go right to what's important, and then we can start clearing off what's on your plate. Because as you're practicing and as you're taking in and customizing, you're being more effective. So you're dealing with less problems in every conversation, in the way that you're approaching leadership every day. That's changing, and therefore things are being taken off your plate. We relieve that stress. I sometimes feel like it's like a release valve. We're taking out some of that pressure immediately. I had a client say that working with me inside the Executive Edge was like an anti-inflammatory. That was after week 1. She sent me a message and she was like, yeah, this is so great. Like, for the first time, I feel like I can think and I don't have all of that inflammation. So with all of that said, there is an opportunity for you to get those two things, the practical emotional intelligence and the customized strategy, because that's exactly what I offer inside the Executive Edge program. And I am opening up 6 spots right now, 6 spots, not more. Because when I do the Executive Edge, when I do my program, it's for a very limited, intimate, customized experience. So there's very limited seats. Inside the Executive Edge, we go over 3. You're going to get those 2 things, but what we're really going after is increasing your influence, leading effective communication, and having a positive impact on your employee culture. Kelsey Ann, what can you add about the Executive Edge here?
I can add that participants within the program, and I've actually gone through the program twice, it's really exciting to hear back from those participants that when they come back to group and say, when we share about how we practice what we've learned the week before, that their employees, that their management, that management above, management below are noticing changes in them. Hey, you're talking different, you're communicating different. And I'm noticing, but what are you doing differently? Like, other people are noticing these little tweaks because like you said, these leaders, they're knowledgeable. They have so much, they're in these roles for a reason. They just need these slight tweaks in email communications and asking questions. And when they have them, after working with you in 1 or 2 weeks, to hear such positive feedback from them saying, people are noticing the changes that I'm making, that I'm no longer taking over, that I'm asking more questions, that I'm leading differently. And that, to me, that's the secret sauce right there. That's our sweet spot.
Yeah. And usually that's the 2nd or 3rd week.
Yeah.
Out of 8 weeks, the 2nd or 3rd week, you'll already be receiving some of that feedback. You'll noticing the changes in how people are responding to you. And that's very satisfying that you can see the ROI immediately,
Mhm.
right? That you're not having to wait and maybe, and did that do anything? And, I've gone through some leadership development programs that have left me wondering, did this do anything?
Yeah.
Here you're seeing the breakthroughs, personal breakthroughs, the personal shifts, and also from the outside, you're getting that feedback immediately. And I'm thinking of a person in particular, who did come with a background in leadership. She
Mhm.
had 20 years of leading and creating wonderful cultures. So that was part of what she was really great at. And she had stepped into a new team. And that's when she contacted me, because everything that she had been doing that had gotten her success wasn't quite working. There was something missing. She couldn't find what that little tweak was. And so in this new culture, there was a lot of blame. There was a lot of throwing people under the bus. There was a lot of complaining, a lot of this is not fair. And it was driving her absolutely crazy, because instead of having people who are collaborating and who should have each other's back, especially, with the subject matters they were dealing with on a day-to-day basis, they were dealing with really hard things. And so she was looking to make that shift out of that, because it was really weighing on her. And it was really not a fun experience. The pressure of having to make that shift, like out of it, and then having to hear the complaints, getting the text messages of unhappy employees, getting the emails, getting knocks on her door. It was really weighing on her. So what we did was just look at her culture. We started really breaking down what this new culture, what was the driving, what was underneath all of this behavior. And from that, we were able to make tweaks in her approach. So we were able to leverage everything that she was doing great. And in 3 months. And if you've ever done any type of culture development, it doesn't happen in 3 months. It happens in a year, 2 years, 5 years. Culture is slow to change.
Mhm.
Okay, in 3 months, she was able to turn it around. So that's someone who was already well established in her leadership skills, and that customization made a big difference. So if you're interested in the program, here's what's included. You are going to start with your EQ leadership assessment. So you're going to get a profile. It's a 20-page report that's going to tell you about you. And it's going to give us a starting point to customize what's going to be important, where you're going to invest your time, your effort. What are we going to leverage? What are the good things that you're already coming to the table with that we're going to leverage? And you're going to get a one-on-one coaching session to kick everything off. That's going to set you up for the 6 group sessions. So we have group training sessions that includes also coaching. And in those group sessions, we take those concepts that we deepen them. We go more specific, we do a lot of customization, and then we look at the practice, we look at the implementation. So we bridge that gap. Make sure that you are week to week implementing and moving forward. And then you get a reassessment. So there's nothing more satisfying than seeing your before and after and seeing that shift. So you're going to get it experientially, like Kelsey-Ann was saying, you're going to start getting that feedback. You're going to start feeling different. People feel different. People respond differently. So that is the experience. But then you're going to get the black and white. You're going to get the reassessment. You're going to get your before and after report, so you can see what shifted
Mhm.
that's creating those results. And you're going to finish it with another one-on-one coaching session. You're going to walk away with a certificate so you can show the world that, hey, I've invested in myself and I have these skills, and a virtual badge. And for everyone who is interested, who books their call in the next 24 hours, because I like people who are ready to take action. I'm an action taker personally. Kelsey Ann, you're an action taker. There's
Absolutely.
nothing that I love more than people who are like ready and wanting and taking action, because those are typically the clients that I get the best results with. They're
Mhm.
always just ready to do it. I am including a bonus, your EQ Mastery Toolkit. So I'm going to tell you what you're going to receive in that. First off, you're going to receive your EQ coaching cards, which I absolutely love. I love giving them away to my clients. Let me tell you, I want you to have these. All right. So book your call. The EQ coaching cards become a coaching tool for yourself, for your own development, but you can also use it with your employees and with your team. You're going to get this really nice, handy dandy practicing emotional intelligence booklet. It looks like it's not much. It packs a big punch. Talk about a good way to introduce emotional intelligence in your team. I use this booklet a lot.
And we've had some leaders that leave it in the break room and, their employees are picking it up. Oh, okay. This is what, this is interesting.
Yeah. You're going to get this handy dandy. Handy dandy seems to be the word of the day today. This is a Pluchik's Wheel of Emotions. So this is something that we work with very, very closely. You're going to get an interactive version of this. So this becomes your cheat sheet at the tip of your fingers, so that when you're in the moment, when you're having the conversations, you have something that you can glance at and readjust and practice your emotional intelligence with. This is the models that we work with. So you get this little cheat sheet. Again, very much about supporting the practice. So everything that you're learning, you also have at the tip of your fingers, and it fits inside your pocket. You can literally put it in your back pocket and be ready. And you see, like mine, like I use it. And you're going to receive At the Heart of Leadership. So this book, How to Get Results with Emotional Intelligence, is going to be a book that accompanies the program. You don't have to read it. I recommend that you read it. And as we go through the program, I make some recommended reading that helps you deepen and really support you through the program and beyond, because this lives with you after the program. So you have this. So this EQ kit, if you book your call within the next, did I say 24? Let's do 48. The next 48, you have till Wednesday.
Okay.
So until Wednesday, let's say 5 p.m.
Okay.
End of day. You have till Wednesday at 5 p.m. to book your call. Booking your call doesn't mean you're in the program. Booking the call means we're going to talk and we're going to see if this is a good fit for you. And only if it's a good fit for you and you are a good fit for the program, then we'll explore if you want in. And if you get in, if you claim your seat inside the program, then you will be eligible to receive this, as long as you've booked your call before Wednesday. So when you click on the link that Kelsey Ann just left down below, click the link. That's going to bring you to a page about the program. You're going to click on book my call. It will open up a calendar, and there's going to be options to book yourself in at a time that's convenient. We try to give you options kind of over the next couple of weeks. So you have to book it now. You may not get the call before Wednesday. I think there are some options for Wednesday, but as long as you're booked in my calendar, we're going to note who's been booked in. by Wednesday, 5 o'clock to qualify for this. And I know I've harped on this, but I want to give you this. People love this kit.
They certainly
What are
do.
things that you've heard, Kelsey Ann, about the EQ kit?
Oh my goodness.
I love it. I love giving it.
Yes, the leaders that have received it, they love their cards. They love using it with themselves, with their when they're doing one-on-one coaching, or with their team members, when they're doing reviews. There's so many different ways. Some of them have used it personally with their children, with their partners, with their management. So like, it's not just a one and done. These are tools that leaders are now coming back to and reusing and getting so much out of.
Yeah. So this is it. If you're feeling it, if this is the right time for you to move out of being the manager, being stuck in management and pushing and pulling on people and not knowing how to get out of it, but wanting to become that leader that you envision yourself to be, there is a way there, and I'm there to help you. I'm in your corner, and I want to get you there because I've done it before, and I've worked with hundreds of leaders, and it's so satisfying to be able to do this work. I want to see you succeed. So I will champion you. All you need to do is to book this call. We'll talk, and I will bring you the strategy. I will bring you the practice. I will create the environment to make sure that you can succeed. And so it's up to you. All you got to do is book the call. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Kelsey Ann, for joining me today. And DM us if you have any questions. Anything else that they should know, Kelsey Ann?
So this program is gearing up, this session, for August 14th. So I know we've been speaking to some people. There's been some interest, so that is when the next session starts up. And one thing that you did, which I think is very, very important to mention, is that through this practice and through this strategy, your clients get a one-on-one direct contact to you throughout the whole program, which is very different from other programs. This is a live program. They have access to you. It's not a recording that you're kind of tuning into. It's very interactive, very, there's role plays. It's very integrative. And I think that that is very important to mention, because as leaders are working through live these opportunities, these challenges, they're speaking with you and getting that tweak, that customization, those, how to ask the wording to go deeper. And that is different than other programs. So I think that is something that I just wanted to mention, because seeing the leaders really take the concepts that you're teaching them, the concepts that they already know, and then that live support through you, and then seeing the results that they're hearing. You're speaking different, and they're seeing the results from their employees acting differently and getting, becoming more productive and taking initiative. It's really exciting to see.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. I really value high touch. And so that is what I give, a lot of high touch, white glove service.
Absolutely.
And you do get that direct line to me. So behind the scenes, we're in constant communication.
Yeah.
All right. This is it for now.
Yeah.
Book your call. I can't wait to talk to you. I can't wait to explore what's going on for you, what you want for yourself, how you envision yourself as a leader, and to be that champion for you, to be that partner to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.